So, gentle parenting or soft parenting is kind of the problem with this society. You see so many kids on TikTok, Instagram that genuinely deserve harder parenting because they just think the rules do not apply. So today we're going to see why gentle parenting has is kind of ruined this world. Yeah, before we jump in, I would like to say, like, as someone who was probably given a little bit too much freedom, but not crazy amounts, I wish I had more of a stricter life. But I see some of these parents that just let their kids walk all over them. And if I did anything like that to my mom, it's hooked. But, like, these days, kids be getting away with everything. And then that's the issue is when they grow up, they're not going to expect they're going to face the harshness of the real world, if you know what I mean.
Give me my phone, you idiot!
Yeah.
You want me to take your iPad away?
No!
Yeah, that's crazy, right? It's crazy a kid could just like do that and their parents are like, "Oh, I'm gonna ground you." Like, no, you take away everything. You go to school, whatever. Because have you seen some of these kids grounded anyhow? It's not even grounding. They take away a couple things and just send them to their room with their PlayStation and they're cool. Like, what?
Hands are not for hitting. I don't like that. That hurts.
Children are violently attacking their parents. Children are getting
Yeah, that's scary, right? When you're genuinely attacking your parents, that is terrifying.
addicted to iPads, watching Cocomelon and Skibbly Toilet for hours. Math and reading scores are declining. What do these all have?
Well, AI is a big part of math and reading scores, but yeah, if you don't put your kid on a strict guideline, it will really cause harm. Because then they just stop caring about what's happening in school. They're not listening to authority. When authority means nothing to them, they're just gonna do whatever.
In common? They're the result of a new and growing trend, gentle parenting. Gentle parenting is exactly what it sounds like, being gentle to your child. Gentle parenting believes it's a war crime to punish a child.
That's crazy. Like, punish? Like, I get, like, maybe spanking, whatever, certain things, but you don't even need to like spank your child these days. There's so many different things you can do, like take away everything, allow them just to like go in their room and sleep, wake up, eat, go to school, whatever. If you do that, then you'll learn things. That's the way I was raised, like grounding, but a real grounding. Because I feel like the grounding we hear of these days isn't grounding.
Spanking? That's child abuse. Yelling at your child? That's child abuse. Doing anything that upsets and angers.
Yelling? That's crazy work. As I'm not a parent myself, but then how are you supposed to discipline them? Do you want them to raise themselves?
Your child? That's child abuse. What happens if your child is literally assaulting you and hurting you? Well, you need to sit down and talk about your feelings.
You call the cops. I'm sorry, right? If my kid, as long as not like if it was a young toddler, whatever, you just tell him no. You could do things with that. But if my like 13, 14-year-old was hitting me, nah, right? I'm calling the cops and getting them sent to juvie. I do not care. Okay, I'm teaching them right from wrong. Because first off, I'm not letting any 14-year-old put hands on me and not calling the cops, my kid or not.
Use logic to explain why hitting people is a big no-no. That's the mindset that gentle parenting advocates for. Gentle parenting was popularized in the 2010s in attempts to get rid of the authoritarian parenting styles.
Yeah, I've been saying this. Millennials, right? Don't get me wrong. There is a little bit too harsh parenting. I do 1,000,000% agree. But millennials be cooking us for real. They be coming up with things like this
that society was so accustomed to. But this trend backfired, creating a generation of bratty, selfish, violent, and entitled children. Children can be stubborn.
Oh yeah, and you'll definitely see the difference if you go to college. I go to college. You'll see the difference of kids that were raised strict and then some that were just like given actual discipline. Because these people are genuine crash outs. They'll just be crashing out over these stupidest things. I saw someone throw something at a professor. I'm like, back in my day, that would never happen.
And negotiating with them is hard. Try convincing a child that brain rot is bad for them and you'll see what I mean. Because
hey, try convincing an adult that brain rot is bad for them and you'll see what I mean.
children rarely listen to logic and emotional reasoning, gentle parenting often fails. Watch how these gentle parents deal with their children's violence.
Well, honestly, you know what I think a big part of everything is we're giving kids social media, and I started on social media too young. And I was like maybe 11, 12 when I got my first like phone, but I had tablets and stuff. And I wish I did not have social media growing up because it genuinely ruins your perception of reality, especially if you could admit that to yourselves. A lot of people won't, but growing up with social media might have been the worst thing for everyone in general.
You can't slap his head, okay?
Please.
No, you can't slap his head, okay?
No. You can't be doing that. You cannot be doing that. They have that soft spot on their head. My gosh. You can't just say, oh, you can't slap his head. You have to tell him why. Bro, that's already made me upset.
Please.
Please don't do that. Ellie, please don't do that. Ow! No, gentle hands.
No.
The only thing with that is if a baby slaps you, they're not gonna really know. Yeah, you gotta say no, but how are you supposed to navigate that situation? You get me? Because I don't know how I would discipline a baby. That's probably why I'm never gonna have kids. But like, I know that's not the right answer, is just go no. But especially when another kid is harming the baby, nah. That should never happen. That actually made me mad. That video genuinely made me mad.
It might not seem like much, but these children are
No, the first one is terrible. That one, you can navigate that kinda easy.
learning that they can hurt people without consequences. This is dangerous. If children learn that it's okay to hurt their parents, they begin hurting anyone they feel like. This is how bullies are created. Now, some will argue that these parents did not use gentle parenting correctly, but come on, give them some slack.
How can you use gentle parenting correctly if it's no rules? It's genuinely anarchy. It sounds like, oh, like, no, don't do that. Growing up, if my mom was like, oh, don't do that, I'd do whatever I wanted because there's no rules. It's a lawless society, guys.
Parenting is so confusing and complicated, you should need a PhD if you want to use this parenting style. In gentle parenting, parents need to become a personalized therapist and counselor for their children. And in this process, a lot of parents are bound to become too loose, leading to bad and undisciplined children. Only parents who are good at understanding children's emotions and behavior should attempt.
And it's so bad, like, once they hit, like, the college years. Because, like I said, you will see these people because they don't know right from wrong. Like, I will see people arguing with a professor because they slept in and missed an assignment, and they're like, oh, you can't ruin my life, like this zero ruined my school. And I'm like, yeah, I experienced the same thing, but at least I know it was my fault. They just don't know it's their fault. It's not. It's hard to put blame on them, but you kind of can. You know what I mean? Like, it is definitely the parents' fault. You see it all the time. Like, I think this is how we got furries, okay? Like, do what you want, don't get me wrong, but when you're dressing up like a furry, it's cooked, right? Do not go around my dogs, that's for sure.
This parenting style, because if done wrong, this parenting style could lead to disaster. And this isn't only about violence. When children learn that they can do whatever they want without any serious consequences, they begin to expect the world to revolve around them. And this is a mindset that's very hard to undo. If anything isn't going their way and they're unhappy about it, they throw a tantrum. This has led to a massive rise in classroom misbehavior in the last few years. Here's a kindergarten teacher talking about it.
Well, I've seen videos where students will put hands on their teacher, and then the teacher will get in trouble. And it's like, bro, what are we doing? Because it isn't just gentle parenting or something like this. It is a whole problem with, like, schools. They kind of empower this belief. Schools these days just let your kids do whatever you want and won't tell you. That's crazy to me. If your kid's doing something bad or something that you might not allow in your household, the school should at least be clear with you. You know what I mean?
Gentle parenting is ruining
our children. We can't do much.
Like, and also, yes, I will agree, for the teachers that actually try, you gotta give it to them. I feel bad for all the teachers that try, but the teachers that don't and kind of push this mindset onto kids, that's crazy work to me.
When students misbehave, when they're yelling, when they're cursing, when they're throwing chairs, they're trying to hit teachers with their jackets, they are stomping on their feet.
Why can't the teachers, right, is calling the cops not a thing anymore? I'm sorry, right? Maybe that's something you shouldn't do. But I don't care if he's 14. Anywhere probably from 12 and up. If that age started putting their hands on me, I'm calling the cops. I do not care, dude. Take them away.
That is not okay. That is when gentle parenting has not benefited that child.
A nationwide survey found that 68% of teachers experience verbal abuse from their students. Classrooms have turned into real-life Call of Duty lobbies.
Bro, did you really say that, bro?
This 14-year-old
Yeah, being a teacher these days is rough, not gonna lie.
repeatedly calling his African-American teacher a racial slur,
Bro, send it to, bro. We're right here, bro. Everybody's watching. What's up?
hurling a basketball at the teacher,
How can students not defend this, though? I'm sorry. But if I saw this going on in my classroom, I'd be like, yo, chill out, bro. Or, like, we gotta get you out, kid. I would just pull him out. Because that's the problem, is students need to start taking accountability for each other. If this is happening, defend your teacher, dude.
You like some
44% of teachers cite student misbehavior as a top source for job-related stress.
Our society, a significant decrease in accountability and consequence. It's not surprising that unfortunately
We have no accountability anymore. Like, you'll see it in a lot of social media comment sections, how you'll have a lot of people that just refuse to admit the truth. You'll see so much arguing, like political arguing, whatever. And when someone brings a real fact, on whatever side, whatever thing you want to talk about, instead of acknowledging it, they either just hurl an insult or they just change the topic completely.
this is spilling over into the behavior of students in school.
It's no wonder why there's massive teacher shortages.
If you can't defend your beliefs, if you cannot defend your beliefs with genuine stats, data, and factual evidence, then you shouldn't have them. And I would say 98% of people can't.
In countries all around the world now.
Maybe not that much, but still, you know what I mean.
This wasn't as large of a problem back in the 2000s as it is now. And misbehavior isn't the only consequence.
So I grew up in, I was going to say this. I grew up in a regular school, and then in high school, I went to a private school on a scholarship. And my gosh, this private school was the Twilight Zone. The teachers, they gave up, right? They were all young teachers, just got into teaching. They already gave up, already cooked. The teachers were more like the older students' friends. The teachers hated their students. The students hated each other. Because my class, by the way, my whole grade actually had 14 people in it. And we all talked about each other behind each other's backs. Like, nobody was friends. And then we'd all just LARP being friends in public. It was crazy work. It was genuinely the Twilight Zone.
Children are becoming lazy and slow. Parents simply hand an iPad or an iPhone to their children to shut them up and let the device do the parenting. Children begin to watch highly stimulated.
How could you just give your kid an iPad and not care? That's crazy. Even this young is like, that's insane to me.
Content, with toddlers watching Cocomelon and older children doom scrolling YouTube shorts and watching brain rot content.
So what I've heard about Cocomelon, Bluey, that one lady, the one that's like good, that a lot of parents talk about, that's good for like children or whatever. I forget her name. Miss Rachel, I think is her name. All of those, what you hear the exact same explanation about them, is their baby, their child is hypnotized and kind of like caught in this colorful like standpoint. And if that's happening, if your kid is hypnotized to the screen, then you failed. If like what? If that's doing that to your kids, that's not good. If they're being hypnotized by an iPad and kind of just not moving, that's not a good thing.
And at first, parents see nothing wrong with this, until they try to get the children to stop.
You want me to take your iPad away? No! Okay, well, it's time for bed.
That if I ever did that as a kid, I wouldn't have an iPad. I wouldn't have things, okay? Yeah, I would not have anything left.
No! Not going to bed!
With control.
That scream was insane, bro. Right? If my kid did that, because sound, I'm a big sound guy. If my kid was screaming like that to me, right? He's never having an iPad again. I'm also never having a kid because it's cooked.
It's okay. You gotta learn from mistakes, man.
Many parents don't take the measures to limit their child's screen use or monitor their
Being in a relationship is cooked too. Don't get me wrong. That's part of the reason why I'm never gonna have a kid, because you cannot trust anyone these days. All these people be cheating on each other. You know, you have guy best friends, you have girl best friends, whatever. If you're a girl, it's the same thing. It's like, and you have women hate men, vice versa. It's like, it's so cooked. All these people are genuine crazy people. I just want to be left alone in my room. That's it. That's what you got to realize is today society is so cooked. It's not worth even talking to these people because everyone's crazy.
content. If this continues long enough, the child actually becomes addicted to their iPad or iPhone and builds an emotional dependence on it. Without their device, they can't be happy. Many studies have found that excessive screen use can interfere with brain development in children by lowering cortical thickness and damage their prefrontal cortex.
See, that's a big problem, is once we see this, no, everyone just ignores studies, right? You'll see these studies and everyone will just ignore them. And it's like, maybe they're there for a reason. If it's genuinely harming your kid, maybe you need to take away the iPad instead of just being like, oh, I need to think about that. Because a lot of people will see these studies, be like, make a Reddit post about it, and then not do anything.
Parietal lobe, temporal lobe, and occipital lobe. In simple terms, the brain is getting f***ed. These brain changes make it even more difficult for children to identify and regulate their
And the AI generation, I am not going to a doctor. You're gonna go to a doctor with the AI generation. Let's say you need like a kidney transplant, and then they're gonna remove your larynx. That's what's gonna happen, guys. Like I saw one. It was a Twitch streamer. He was like, "Hey, AI, can I get a piece of toast out of the toaster if it's plugged in?" And the AI's like, he's like, "Oh, can I get a piece of toast out of the toaster with a fork?" And the AI's like, "Yeah, no, yeah, you totally can." And then he does it. It explodes. He gets launched by 5 feet. And then the AI's like, "Oh, just make sure it's unplugged." That's the type of generation we're running here.
emotions, which could be why children get so angry when their iPads are taken away. And this isn't the child's fault. Children don't know better. It's the parent's responsibility to ensure.
No, like I said, I didn't know better as a kid, and I genuinely wish I did. Like, that would solve a lot of my problems in today's realm if I never had any social media.
That the children don't misuse technology.
Like, I'm gonna be honest, I think the best age for kids to genuinely get on social media is 16. It maybe. Like, maybe give them a phone, one of those phones that don't have access to stuff. But I guess maybe that's just because maybe I just wouldn't be a good parent. But 16 is probably the age I would want. If it were me, if I could go back and change things about my life, I wouldn't want social media or just phone technology, maybe TV. But yeah, I just wouldn't want technology till I was 16.
But because gentle parenting strongly advocates against punishment, and many parents interpret this as avoiding any action that makes the child upset, many parents.
This really does seem like to me, like gentle parenting, the reason why a lot of it is just give your kid an iPad or let your kid be happy, just treat them with respect. And yeah, you should. I would always, someone that said, I said this as a kid and I still believe this now. if you don't respect, you know how parents and grandparents are always like, respect your elders. If your elder doesn't respect you, you're never gonna respect your elders. But respect doesn't mean lawless society.
Become too reluctant to take away screen time. But this isn't just about screen time. The detrimental effects of a screen addiction carry.
And the problem is, a lot of parents that are quote unquote strict parents do it in the wrong ways. They're strict parents just because they like the power dynamic. That is why gentle parenting was probably created. And the ones that just live off that power dynamic creates the exact same thing. It's just on the opposite side. The kid's going to rebel and go against everything you taught them. Maybe just take accountability, know what is good parenting and what is just being a douche and what is just not wanting to raise your kid. Because there's a difference on all spectrum.
On to other aspects of the child's life, and one of these is school. Children are underperforming at every single grade level. A study investigated math and reading scores of 4th and 8th graders and found that
and with college isn't even taken serious anymore. Like, go to a lot of discussion posts, 90% of it is AI. And not even educated AI where you generate a prompt and then you change it. No, these people are genuinely just copy and pasting from ChatGPT, and yet they're still getting full marks. It's insane to me.
Majority do not meet proficiency. And it makes sense. When children's brains are so fried from spending hours on their screens, that brain damage.
Oh, AI slop is gonna ruin this society. That little baseball bat thing, it like freaks me out, not gonna lie. And everything with AI, I can't enjoy an AI video. I don't know how you can. One of the few videos I do enjoy, not gonna lie, is like the UFC videos where it's like Homelander versus Omni-Man in the UFC. They're about the only AI videos I've actually enjoyed. But, just AI in general sucks. Why did we create it? Bro, I'm about to have a crash out. And this
happens to affect how they perform in school. Along with this, when children spend years spending all their time playing and using a screen, rather than doing chores or learning, they grow a lazy mentality that's very difficult to reverse. Even basic elementary school academics become too much to handle, as they have zero will.
Yeah, with math, I peaked at the number system. I still get by in my college math classes by my charm and wit. But I peaked at the number system, right? I could tell you all my multiplication facts for sure. Other than that, we're a bit shaky, not gonna lie.
Power or discipline. Parents need to understand the dangers of these screens and regulate screen time, even if it angers their children. The rise of gentle parenting.
I think what I really think is Apple should make Apple, Samsung. I hate Apple products. If you don't know me, I have my reasons. I've talked about it in a past video, so I'm not going to get into it. But Apple, Samsung, whatever should make a kid's phone that will like turn off, will full on lock with like 2 hours of maybe entertainment and stuff.
Has led many parents to allow their children long hours of screen time. And even if this isn't the mindset that gentle parenting is advocating for, it is the mindset that gentle parenting has popularized. So we need to either start.
And sports needs to be encouraged. Not sports like the type of parents that like try to live through their kid. Disciplinary sports, kind of like jiu-jitsu. BJJ is one of the best sports to discipline your kid because it teaches it themselves. They learn like where it makes it a good way to put out your anger and aggression if you have those. And if not, it's just really fun and it teaches you discipline and learning. It teaches you everything's a step basis because a lot of jiu-jitsu, 30 minutes of the first part of practice is just learning the moves. And that helps cognitive function and learning how systems just keep getting more and more. Like math is just a build off everything. So jiu-jitsu is the same way. So once your mind starts to apply that to jiu-jitsu, it will start applying it to other things.
Warning against the dangers of failed gentle parenting, or stop promoting this parenting style so heavily. So far, we've discussed the dangers that arise when parents misunderstand the gentle parenting method and use it incorrectly. But even if done correctly, this parenting style can still lead to disaster. You see, gentle parenting works off the assumption that a child is an emotionally intelligent creature who understands the morality.
Yeah, that's just not true, right? Everyone that tries to allow their child to make big life decisions when they're like 8 or 9 or younger is insane to me, right? I wanted to be Spider-Man when I was a kid, right? I didn't know what was real, what was fake. I genuinely believed I could form a Rasengan. I did this many times because I believed like I could spirit the wind. I had chakra nature, right? Kids are dumb.
Of their actions. But the unfortunate reality is that most children are not like this. In a child,
Most children, I would argue no children are emotionally intelligent. Your brain doesn't stop forming from till you're 24. So like the fact that we could believe something that has a brain about this big is like, you know, a quarter of the actual brain can make intelligent life decisions is crazy to me.
early stages, particularly up to the age of 5, children have a trait known as egocentrism, which is the inability to understand perspectives other than their own. These children haven't developed enough cognitively to understand the
Hey, right? It just isn't children these days. You see that all everywhere. It's crazy work.
concept that other people perceive situations differently than they do. For example, when playing hide and seek, a toddler might cover their own eyes, believing that nobody can see them because they aren't able to see anyone else. Or a toddler might
And that's emotionally intelligent, guys.
offer their favorite toy to someone else, believing that they would enjoy the toy just as much. But children also have a hard time understanding how their own actions can upset others. A toddler might slap his mom, thinking it's funny. Because the toddler finds it funny, the toddler believes his mom will also find it funny.
Yeah, and I feel like that also has an extent into like when you're growing up, and if you just start to believe that others are wrong because you're right, and I think this has something to do with gentle parenting, you start to believe that it's okay to be violent towards others. Like if you look at the stats, one in like 4 or 5 people believe that political violence is okay. And I am sorry. If you believe that is okay, you are insane. If you believe just harming your other people because they think differently, that's crazy work. Because even if they are wrong, then you have to understand why or whatever. And odds are they're not wrong. Well, actually, most people that believe there is just one right way to think are wrong, by the way. That is
In this
just fact.
scenario, gentle parenting would advocate using
Because it's not true. There are multiple ways to think. And funny enough, tribalism and groupthink is the worst ways to think of things. If you just like what someone says or just like their personalities, that doesn't mean they're correct.
logic and emotional reasoning to explain why slapping is bad. But a toddler will have a very difficult time understanding these concepts because these concepts are too complicated and beyond their cognitive capacity. It's like teaching algebra to a toddler. Maybe some toddlers will understand it, but for most, their brains just aren't ready for it. And you can't force these.
Will they? Like if a child understands algebra or anything like that, right? Get him in the advanced learning program. Put him on stand. Put him in as president, because honestly, right, the judges, the president, these days, I think anyone could do it. So if a kid's understanding algebra, that's a future genius.
Complex concepts.
Heck, I could hardly understand algebra. English, me good at, but math, me bad.
Onto a child because they're just
English writing down, me good at. Me bad at verbalization.
going to end up being confused and won't learn anything.
Yeah, because my problem is, right, when I think of something, I lay it out so good in my head, and then when I speak it, it sounds like a bunch of gibberish and yapping. It's crazy.
But you know what does work? Operant condition.
I am taking a linguistics class next semester, guys, though. So expect some world-class speaking, because as we know, college classes help you with everything.
Toddlers' brains are too premature to understand concepts of empathy and morality, but their brains are capable of association. A toddler can associate
Again, nowadays that just isn't toddlers. That's a lot of people. Empathy and morality, a lot of people. And a lot of people that claim they're doing it because it's like, oh, do you have empathy? It's like, do you have empathy? Because the same person that's asking for empathy, then you go promote political violence. That's not how that works, guy.
certain action to a certain outcome. For example, a child understands, if I eat this broccoli, mom will give me ice cream. Or, if I slap mom, I will be punished. For most children, this method of parenting will be the most.
Oh, and by the way, before you try to wrap me into your sides business, like right versus left, both of them are cooked, okay? With it, long story short, both of them are cooked. Do some research.
Effective. Apparently, this method is considered harmful nowadays,
So that's why I use them as an example.
which I personally think is BS. Like adults, children have different levels of emotional and social intelligence. Some children might learn concepts of empathy and morality very quickly, and gentle parenting will be very effective for these children. On the flip side, some children are especially stubborn and selfish, and disregard the feelings of anyone else.
Yeah, I was really bad about that as a kid. When I was really selfish as a kid, and that would be scary if I didn't like start to learn my actions harmed other people, even if it benefited myself. And if that's not taught, imagine if someone just goes up and like knocks down your TV or steals your phone, steals your wallet, just because that's how they were taught. That's a bit scary.
These children can still be raised to become kind and understanding people. They just need to be specifically raised to understand that their negative actions will lead to negative consequences. If these children are raised with gentle parenting, even if
Bro, what? Did you just took my 13-year-old daughter phone away last night? Her brother sent me this video while I was at work. No. Call the cops. I'm sorry, right? If my kid does that, I'm calling the cops because I've tried to raise them right. If they turn out like this, I'm calling the cops. Maybe juvie will teach them a lesson.
done correctly, they
And
might
if you're like, oh, well, juvie's bad. Yes, I agree. Everything about juvie is bad. But if they're chopping my truck like that, I don't care anymore.
still end up being violent or narcissistic. And that's what we're seeing happening so often these days. Now here comes the controversial part of the video. I know a lot of you will get triggered by this part. If you disagree with me or want to type any hate comments, then go ahead. I actually read most of the comments on every video I post, so I'll probably see.
Oh yeah, if you want to leave any hate comments on mine, that'd be great. I love good hate comments. Not gonna lie, because I find them quite interesting, because a lot of people will hate without even knowing you, and that's insane to me. Like, how can you hate someone that you don't know? You don't know their real personality. Like, even how I'm talking, you know, like what? Maybe 0.5 of my personality, and you're gonna already presume me off one video? That's crazy. Same with, like, I said this about social media stars, is social media stars, you see what they want you to see, and you immediately think they're good? That's crazy.
What you're right. Our society has become soft. Parents
Yes.
are afraid to be strict towards their children because they believe it might traumatize them. Nowadays, people commonly talk about having PTSD.
Yeah, that's my problem, is you hear a lot of things like this, like PTSD from my mother yelling at me a lot. And maybe, I don't know, but like that kind of takes away from actual people that was abused. Like, I'll be talking to someone that's like, "Oh, I have trauma." And then they'll be like, "Oh yeah, my parents yelled at me as a kid." And I'm like, "And?" Right? That isn't trauma. Right? I have some stories, but even me, I'm just chill, right? I just move on. But if we normalize it to have yelling as something that's terrible and life, like being like, oh, that's PTSD, and you cut off your parents because of it, that's insane. because that really makes everyone else that was genuinely abused just unheard, because apparently everything is abuse these days.
because their parents yelled at them. PTSD. Yeah, try telling that to a soldier or a war veteran.
Yes, that's what I'm saying, right? Tell that to a real veteran that has to see those things, that saw some crazy work, and you tell them, oh, I have PTSD from some people yelling?
I'm not advocating for harsh, aggressive parenting.
No, me either. That's my point, is the only issue, well, no, there's tons of issues with that, but acting like everything is bad, everything is abusive parenting, like yelling or strictness or just like a bit of loudness even. If you act like that is abusiveness, that silences so many people that were genuinely harmed against, that were genuinely wronged. And it's scary when you think.
Parents should mostly be gentle and try to understand their children. But the harsh truth is, sometimes
Yes, 1,000,000%. Try to understand your child, but you also have to know when it's time to discipline them. And you could discipline them by many ways. Like I said, you don't even have to do spankings. Grounding as a kid, to me, was a lot worse.
no matter how much you negotiate with them, children will only want things to go their way. In cases like this, where gentle parenting does not.
Oh, Reddit, by the way, is kind of the spawn of everything gentle parenting happened. Right? Reddit in general. Pretty much almost every Reddit thread.
Work, being strict is the only solution.
Can you please stop hitting me with that?
Yeah, I had what a lot of people would consider strict parents, and I wish they were stricter. And also, right, I wish parents would stop trying to push politics onto their kid. Because as someone who actually never really cared about, like, I'll see a bunch of social media posts and it's a kid talking about politics, a kid that doesn't know anything, is literally just repeating what their parents what their parents is talking about. It's like, instead of actually trying to push political ideology on your kids, maybe parent them, because my parents never did, and I form my own political opinions. And my political opinions is all of them suck. And that's long story short. I could really get into that. But when you see it pushed onto these kids, that's how you get them to act and just fight everything against those beliefs that you pushed onto them. And pushing beliefs onto your kid is terrible. Let them truly decide themselves.
Thank you.
And just parent them. Give them, like, just discipline. That's all we need.
Stop!
Sit down, please. Luca, sit down. Luca, sit down!
Feet off the table. That's not nice. You're eating. That's nasty. Yes, nasty. Put it down. Get your feet off the table.
Yeah, like that type of parenting, it could be harsh to some, but I don't really see anything. Like, don't yell a lot. No. 1,000,000,000%. Yelling a lot is just, that's how you get hard of hearing, and why? Why are you yelling so much? But raising your voice can really be used to let them know you're angry. It's kind of like a puppy. When you're talking to a puppy, you can't just be like, oh, bad, and pet it. You gotta be like, bad. Bad dog. You know what I mean?
Get him off. Now.
Because so many parents nowadays are reluctant to be strict towards their children, we end up with children who are unafraid of their own actions. Children who don't believe in authority and believe that they can act in their own self-interest. Along with this, a child who's never been yelled at will become soft. They won't be prepared for when the time eventually comes.
Soft and angry. That's the problem. Is a lot of these people you see that were raised with gentle parenting are always angry and kind of scary because they don't know what, like, they don't value others. And that really terrifies me because, like I said, so many people think violence is just okay these days when it's really not, guys. It is not. Violence is not okay.
When
Do we need to go back to kindergarten and learn, right? Do not hit others. Even if you're just mad, even if you're mad at them, don't hit them.
someone does yell at them. They will be in shock, experiencing strong emotions of anger or fear. If a parent doesn't discipline their children,
Nah, Baki's an example of extreme parenting. The wild work what that dude did to him.
the world will. If this trend keeps up, future generations will become emotionally
Future generations, brother, I think you're a couple generations too late. Not gonna lie.
weak, selfish, and sensitive. Of course, frequent punishment for trivial reasons is harmful. If a child
Yes, that's the exact opposite, and will just genuinely make them just look at you as the bad guy rather than actually understand right from wrong.
does not understand why the parent is punishing them, they will be left confused and sad. This can lead to self-esteem and mental health problems later on in the child's life. But if punishment is used only when needed and as a last resort, the child would know exactly why they are being.
Yeah, that's exactly why the best way to do it is if it's the last resort and you got to be like, fine, you're grounded, you're cooked, right? Get in your room, eat dinner, go to school. That's it.
Punished, and they will realize that they are doing something wrong. This is very important for the personal and moral development of a child.
And I really think we should try to limit social media as much as possible. Not governments getting involved. That's what I really hate, is so many governments try to parent your kids. Like, bro, stay out of it. Let the parents parent.
So what kind of parenting style does our society need? A parenting style with balance, knowing when to be gentle, when to set clear boundaries, and when to punish. If parents apply certain principles from gentle parenting, such as empathy and emotional connection and understanding, while also implementing strict rules and punishments, children would experience the best of both worlds. Children will be emotionally intelligent and have healthy relationships with their parents, but also have the discipline to succeed in life.
Yeah, I also really hate that, is you'll see so many people that will just leave their parents or say, like, genuinely hate them just because they don't like what they think or don't like their political beliefs. Like, I disagree with about 95% of my parents' politics, not gonna lie. And yet, we're mad chill. That's how everyone should be. It's not that deep, bro. Right? A bunch of political leaders, bunch of billionaires, a bunch of millionaires shouldn't be framing your personality. Shouldn't be telling you that your parents suck and you should hate them for it. That is so wrong.
And understand that their actions have consequences and that they must show respect to other people.
And honestly, though, in all fairness, if your parents do the same thing, vice versa, because I've seen that a lot too, where the parents will just start hating their kid because they think a certain way. Like, bro, it's not that deep.
Gentle parenting is not for everyone, but you know what is for everyone? My videos. That's right.
Yeah, well, the original link will be down below. You could go check out his channel. He's very good. Like, I really like how this video was framed and all of that jazz. All right, if you guys enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe. And also, please give me some help on what you want me to see next, react to next, talk about next, whatever. All right, see you next time. Bye.